Two girls, one podcast, and their unsolicited opinions.
Plug in your headphones or find a private space because this content is not safe for work.
Welcome to On Her Bookshelf.
Welcome back, Bookshelf Besties. My name is Julia.
And I'm Christy.
And this week we are talking about Locked Inside by Faith Raven. But before we get contained by that, how have you been, Christy?
Well, I've been good. How about you?
I have just survived my first school holidays.
Oh, yes.
Which was testing.
Uh-huh.
Dealt with sickness and everything and wet weather. So, quite literally locked inside my house for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a thriller story, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's a real life horror of a mum of two, that's for sure. And Easter. Read some really weird books.
Yeah, some questionable books.
Yeah, I can't remember whose idea it was, but we actually read Railed by the Easter Rabbit this year.
Yeah, Easter Bunny, I think it was. Railed by the Easter Bunny. Yeah.
Yep, by Delilah Davies.
Yep.
And I think it was you that showed me about Pray for Rabbit as well by
Aidan Pierce.
Yes, Aidan Pierce. So definitely some rabbit-themed novellas were read over the weekend. And can I actually point out this one? He nicknames her Little Bunny throughout this. So everything is kind of like...
It's a full circle moment.
Yes, I definitely feel like we've come right back around to the beginning.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay, enough about the weird rabbit stories. Let's get on topic to today's book.
Yes. We're talking about Locked Inside by Faith Raven.
Yeah, so this book was only released back in February 2025. And I think you mentioned before to me before we were recording, but the audiobook came out at the same time as well.
Yeah.
And that's how we consumed this one. And I'm so glad I decided to listen to the audiobook.
You're welcome.
You're right. It was your recommendation.
I've been telling her since February.
Yes. So only like 2 months.
That's a long time, okay?
It is actually, that's fair, especially when you're waiting for someone to finish the book you've already finished and all you want to do is talk about it. You're right. That's like 2 decades.
It's fair because I did leave you for how many years for certain books. So that's fair, I guess. I'll forgive you this time. But if you do it again, there'll be consequences.
I'm up for a bit of punishment. Yeah, so this one is a dark romance psychological thriller. And the psychological thriller part actually caught me by surprise because I actually went into this thinking it was just going to be a dark romance.
Oh, nay.
Yeah, I was very wrong.
Very wrong.
Very wrong. Very wrong. And can I say, the psychological aspect of it was actually one of my favorite parts of the audiobook.
Is balls to walk?
And we actually have Faith's permission to play some snippets from the audiobook. So stick around because I am definitely going to play you my favorite moment from the audiobook. It's not smutty, but it's totally it's
life-changing.
It's brilliant.
Yes.
But obviously full spoilers. This episode is going to be full spoilers.
All of the spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled and you want to go in blind,
just pause this and then come back.
Yeah. Go check the content warnings first, please, though. Okay.
Speaking of content warnings, should we play the content warnings?
Yes, I think so.
To all those who fall for the psycho, have you ever squirted in madness, little bunny?
Important note. This book is recommended for an informed audience, aged 18 plus. It deals with very dark topics, heavy psychological traumas, mental illnesses, and situations that may be disturbing for some readers, including
Alcohol use and abuse,
anal sex,
animal cruelty on frogs,
anxiety,
autosassinophilia, fetish of being killed,
body decomposition, not graphic, child abuse, not graphic,
choking and breath play,
cum play,
degradation with praise,
depression, mention, drug use and abuse,
explicit sex scenes,
gaslighting, needle play,
mental health and mental illness, mind games, murder,
non-dub con, orgasm denial,
parental loss and grief,
PTSD, rape, mention,
sex without a condom,
self-harm, slapping,
somnophilia, spitting, suicide mentioned, and torture.
Your mental health matters.
And now, locked inside.
Oh my god.
I forgot. Yeah, the effects a really good audiobook narrator can have.
Yeah, I am currently speechless.
I think I need
Just
a
like
hot minute. I need a cold shower and a hot minute.
Yeah. Fuck me.
So I guess they may be also some of the topics that we discuss in today's episode as well. That's the content of the book.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. It might be brought up in today's conversation. So with that, I think it's time for our 60-second summary.
Oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Yay. And I think I've already tagged you in to do this one.
Yeah, thanks. Love that for me.
Look, it was your recommendation that we do this one on the show.
Yes.
It just feels appropriate that you be the one to do the 60 seconds.
It makes sense. I have not shut up about this book to everyone, so it makes sense that I actually not shut up to you guys.
Pass me the timer. Okay, clock is set for 1 minute, 60 seconds.
Okay.
Ti-
Wait.
What do you want? Do you want a 30-second warning? Do you want a 10-second warning?
No, I'm just thinking of the characters' names. Okay, that was so rude.
Wow. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Now?
Okay, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, picture this. We're in an asylum. We've got the main character, Abigail. She is a psychologist. She works there. She studies really crazy cases. I shouldn't say that. She studies really complicated cases. And in comes Dion. He gets transferred in because he is awaiting trial for murders. He's been caught at the murder scene. We don't know if he is or isn't a murderer. But he's brought into this and he is absolutely insane. And he starts to manipulate and play with Abigail and things start to happen and it gets really spicy and it's insane and things happen and there's a copycat killer and oh my god, I always panic when I get to the end of this, but it is so fucking hot and it's so insane and the audiobook will have you gasping.
4, 3,
and it's just incredible. You should read it.
1.
I think I did good.
I think that was actually really well done.
I think I touched everything, honestly.
I think everything that you needed to without like diving into details that would spoil anything.
Yeah.
Even though we've already discussed this is obviously going to be a full spoil episode.
Okay, should I tell her how I came about it story?
Yes, actually, because have you told me the how you came about it story? Yes. It's all right.
You probably forgot it.
I've got 2 kids. My memory is atrocious. So please,
Brain of the goldfish.
I am ready to
hear the story again.
I'm ready to hear the story for the first time again.
Okay, so there's a bit of story behind how I came about this book because I hadn't heard of it before. I hadn't heard of this author before. It came out in February, so it would have been in February sometime before it came out. I got this random DM from the female narrator, Ellen Valentine. Just a random DM, which is incredible. I love you, Ellen. Thank you. And she's like, hey, I've just done this audiobook. The arcs are closing like in the next couple of days. This is right up your alley. I watch your content. Like you should actually go and do this arc. I think you'll love it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, it must be great. Like, thank you.
You're like I'm sold.
Literally, I signed up straight away. I didn't even know what it was about. All I knew was it was dark romance and it's insane. And it was Ellen Valentine, who I love. I love her audiobooks.
Yes.
So I was like, sure, why not? So I signed up for the audiobook ALC, so advanced listener copy. And then I got it and I listened to it and oh my god, it changed my life, honestly.
That's right. I remember now why it took so long for me to listen to the audiobook narration. Yeah, because basically like you had sold me on it straight away. Like I trust your recommendations. I really truly do. But I think like Deep End had just come out as well and I had already listened to like my February audiobooks on Spotify and then I was tossing up, you know, Deep End or Locked Inside and Deep End was just like, oh my god, like
it was like calling to you.
It was calling. It's like a siren song. It was calling to me.
That's fair.
So they were both like high on my list. It was just like, which one did I want to do first?
Yes.
And I'm really glad that I left myself, I guess, in anticipation waiting for this, because all it was like essentially like edging myself for this audiobook.
You were giving yourself orgasm denial. That's all I'm hearing right now. Audiobook orgasm denial.
Yeah, sure. Let's fucking put it that way.
But yes.
Yeah. Honestly, because like you were going on about it, and then like our friend Tay, she listened to it before I had the chance to listen to it.
Yeah.
So I didn't just have you in my ear like listen to this book. I also had Tay in my ear that was like listen to this book.
Yeah.
And then obviously like I put up a post on my social media like, give me like your weird fucked up recommendations. Like I want something crazy. Like yeah, I listen to dark romance, but I want something that's just going to be like shock me, because so much I feel like with dark romance is just a little bit okay, I've read that.
Out.
Yeah, I've read it all before now. And both you and Tay bullied me on that post, and I was like, okay.
Yes.
So I listened to it. I devoured it like so quickly, and there was just so many moments in this where I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I was caught off guard by the psychological thriller aspect. I went into it thinking it was just a dark romance. And yeah, when the psychological like thriller parts really started to like come to the surface, like as the plot progressed, like it wasn't just smut.
No.
There was
It was smut with plot.
smut with plot or plot with smut.
I think it was smut with plot. But like fucking deep plot.
You know what? Yes, I will agree with you.
Yeah.
Smut with plot, because I feel like the smut and the relationship between our two main characters started off like instantly.
Yes. It was intense. It was insane. I also went in pretty blind as well. Like obviously when I signed up for it, I was just like,
True. You've literally just
I
had
didn't even read it.
Ellen in your ear being like, listen to this. And you're like, okay.
Yes, mommy. But like obviously the first time I found out about the content warnings was when I listened to it, and it had the content warning.
I skipped it this time.
So you went blind.
I went blind. I actually got to the bit about like the frog mutilation, and then I was like, that's enough. You know what? I want to be surprised. So I started listening to the content warnings, and then when it hit the bit about the frogs, I was like already surprised by
Frogs.
by that, because it's frogs. Like I don't think I've like read a book or even like watched like a psycho documentary where frogs were the animal of choice.
Okay.
It's always been things like, you know, mice or cats or, you know, still these like little creatures. So the frog part, I was like, well, this is new and interesting to me. And that's where I was like, but you know what? I'm going to pause here and I want to be surprised for the rest. So the needle play and stuff, like when that happened,
I
was
know.
like,
I forgot about it, honestly. And then when I got to it, I was like, are they going to do what I think they're going to do? And then they did.
and then they did. And then they did the thing.
They did the thing. Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess where I was going with that was just like the content warnings. I feel like there was some fresh ones, like things I hadn't read before or I had, but not much.
Yes.
And it was like a refreshing take on it, I guess. Like not just the same stuff. I feel like a lot of dark romance books that I've read lately it's been the same stuff.
It feels repetitive.
And I'm like, give me something new. Like, just give me something.
It's the shock factor. Like, I like reading, like, the dark romance books for the shock factor. For the, holy shit, this is happening kind of moments. Whether that's, like, a really out there smutty scene or just, like...
something gross.
Or it's just, like, on-page gore, you know?
I love, like, that kind of, like, gross feeling. I love that, like, adrenaline rush of, like, oh, that's disgusting. Like, I must keep going.
But what happens next?
Literally.
Yeah.
What'd you rate it? I'm going to judge you for this if you don't give it 5.
You are going to judge me heavily for this. I went back and forth between, like, 4 or 4.5. And I think I settled on 4.5.
That's fucking bullshit. You're wrong and you should feel bad. This was a 6-star read for me. 6, Julia. 6. This is one of my favorite reads of this year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Respect.
Love. Fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Love.
I will forgive you. 4.5 is still very high.
Look, I feel like the only reason I settled on 4.5 is obviously when I do listen to my audiobooks, I'm multitasking. So I can be a little bit distracted at times. And because obviously I'm limited to hours on Spotify, it's not like I go back and listen. So I feel like there was a few moments in there that I was like, wait, what was happening? But that was mainly just me being distracted. You know what? Yes, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those moments. I take full responsibility. So I settled on 4.5.
Cool.
And, you know, that is like up there with one of my top
Yeah.
reads for the year. I think it's one of my favorite dark romances I've
Definitely.
read this year. Like, hands down, nothing can compare to it so far. Like, I'm thinking in my head what I've read. And I have read some fucked up shit this year. But this,
It's hot.
I said a week ago I wanted to start doing like 6-star ratings. I haven't
You haven't done it.
I haven't done it yet.
think you will.
I haven't quite made that leap, which is I think why I settled on the 4.5. Because yeah, right now there is nothing higher than 5 for me. So we'll see. Okay, so we just had to take a pause to kick the baby out of the room who decided not to sleep anymore.
We actually just had some tech issues.
We-
My mic stopped working.
We had
Which
like
is great.
this beautiful conversation on the spice level, so I guess we'll try and make it organic again.
Yeah. So, okay. So you were just talking about how you rated it 4. I rated it 6.
4.5?
Yes. And I didn't mean it like that.
You totally meant it
I
like
didn't
that.
mean it like that. And for spice, what did you give it?
5 chilies.
Nice.
Level 5 up there.
Yes.
Like I've read some like obviously messed up stuff, but this was hot.
I gave it like a 50, honestly.
I'm like questioning myself.
This was the hottest thing I've ever. Wow. Mm-hmm. Can I just say though, have you ever listened to anything by James Cassidy? Because I had never. Before.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think so, but I'm terrible with
With names.
names.
Yes.
So I may have, but I'm unsure.
Cool.
And you are just phenomenal when it comes to remembering like audiobook narrators.
Thank you.
I'm always highly impressed anytime we start an episode and it's an audiobook narration and you're like, oh yeah, and it was just this person and this person. I was like, what?
I just really love shouting out their work because they worked so hard for it. So I'm like, I must remember.
Yes.
I repeat it like
In your head.
In my head.
I'm impressed. And you know what? Good on you because you are right. Like they put a lot of work into like bringing this book, bringing the characters to life. But yeah, the chemistry between the two of them.
God. And yeah, like I said, I haven't heard anything by James Cassidy before, so didn't know what I was getting myself into. Him playing Dion, holy shit.
Yeah, look, obviously you guys have heard like a small snippet when we did do the content warnings. You get it. You totally get it.
You get it. It was fucking hot, okay? It was life-changing. It was an experience for my ear holes, and I will never be the same again.
I hate that even redoing this conversation, ear holes has managed to make it in there twice now.
It will always. They're my ear holes.
Yeah. So 4.5 out of 5 overall rating for me and a level 5 for like the spice factor. And I think you were just a 5 in a million chilies kind of
Yeah.
situation.
6 in a million chilies.
You're right. Sorry. 6 in a million chilies.
Yes.
So
So we actually went into this saying we'd tell you guys right at the start that we had a surprise for you and then like segue into it later on.
I think
we forgot.
we've talked about my goldfish brain and
I have no excuse for me. Okay?
we can
I'm
just
sorry.
fall into the stereotypical blonde.
Thanks. Yes, natural blonde, naturally dumb. Love
not.
that.
You're
I'm
not.
smart.
I was-
I have a big brain.
I was just complimenting your
Oh, my big
memory.
brain?
Yes,
You were.
our big brain. We are a
Oh,
singular
yes.
brain when we do this
are
podcast.
Sentient. Like, is that the word? Like sentient? It's not sentient.
It's not sentient.
There's a word similar.
Sentient is like if your bookshelf came to life and started talking to you.
Oh, you're looking mighty fine there, Billy. I'm so sorry.
Awful. We're just on the same
brain.
Same
Same
brain.
wavelength.
One brain.
Yes.
We joke about having one brain because anytime we come up with an idea, the other one's like, "Oh my god, I was just thinking that." So we have one
actually
singular
uncanny.
brain when we do this podcast.
Yes.
And anyways, this singular brain came up with the same idea. And it's something we've kind of been wanting to do for a little while now. And we thought, you know, why the fuck not? Let's just shoot our shot and do it.
Yeah.
So Christy over here, because she's more socially inclined than I am, actually reached out to Faith Raven with some Q&A questions regarding like Locked Inside, the writing process, and just a whole bunch of really like cool shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we're going to have a little like, what are we going to call it? Like, it's not an unofficial.
Like a one-sided Q&A? No.
I don't know. Well, maybe we'll make the graphics look cool on screen. Basically, it was super late notice. We only decided that today's episode Locked Inside yesterday.
Yes.
And the same yesterday was the day that we reached out.
Yes.
Christy reached out to Faith with the questions, and Faith was like such a good sport. She got back to us so quickly.
I know.
But there is a substantial time difference between where we are in the world in Australia and where she is, because she's like, yeah, I've got time to do it this afternoon. And then she replied to us at like 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, substantial time difference.
Yeah.
So unfortunately we couldn't get on like a live or anything like that with her. And it was super late notice to do like a video answer recording from her. But we have the Q&A written down. So should we like jump into it?
Yeah, why not?
Because like I haven't had a chance to like look over the answers yet. So this is going to be like fresh for me hearing her responses to the questions.
Skim.
Like
I skimmed.
Yeah.
I still wanted a little bit of a surprise.
Yes.
So this is something like we've talked about for a while that we've wanted to do. And we now actually like we're dipping our toes into it. Okay, this is new for us as well. We're still just figuring out how to even just do this.
Look, yes, obviously by the technical issues we had like a few minutes ago, and even like we had breakfast this morning with like a few of our book friends, and we were explaining like, you know, you look back at our first episodes and we're literally sitting on a couch. It was recorded like with a crappy old iPhone with like the cheapest mics you could find on Amazon, and you know, now we actually have a second mic, and we're slowly like starting to expand because we're realizing this is a hobby that we love and we have fun doing, but we just want it to be more. We want to make it more.
Yes.
And like something I'm really enjoying is being a part of the book community.
Yeah.
And when I am brave enough to like reach out to authors, like I have a really good time and just like complimenting the shit out of their writing, especially if like I've enjoyed the story so much.
Yes, 100% agree with you. And like, yeah, another thing is I really want to use our platform for good. I just really want to, I think we both really want to use our platform to just like lift up indie authors.
Shout out about their books.
Yeah, just chat about themselves, chat about their books,
the writing
promote
process.
It. Like
any questions that you like as an audience might have for some of these authors as well. Like we just want to do more with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, we've got a few authors like in mind. But I guess we're just going to like take it one episode at a time. Like hopefully we'll be able to do some lives where maybe the author like sits in over like their webcam. I know there is like some local authors as well in our area that we're interested in getting in the show as well, who live nearby, where we might need like a third stool here or a third microphone for those like episodes. But yeah, if this is something you guys enjoy, or there's like an author that you would love like for us to, I guess, have on the show, just reach out, let us know. Like our email is in our links. Yeah. In our bios, in our links.
Yeah. Even just slide in our DMs.
Or that.
Know, we love to chat.
We do.
Literally.
We yap.
Yeah, we do. We yap. If you have any indie authors that you just, you know that feeling like when you read a book, and it's especially an indie, and you're like, oh my God, this changed my life.
Yes.
Send them to us, please.
Yeah, we'll read it.
Please.
We'll read it.
We'd love to just, start using this space. I keep saying for the good, like, you know.
Good. We're the good guys.
We're the good guys.
I get it. So this little Q&A bit is new to us.
Yep.
We're winging it. And it was just, honestly, it was great of Faith to get back to us so quickly that we could include this in today's episode.
Yes. We literally sprung it on us so late notice. I'm so sorry, Faith. But thank you.
We're terribly sorry for the late notice, but thank you so much for letting us include it in the show. Yeah. So should we get into it?
Yeah, let's go.
Here, I want to ask the question, and you can do the answer. And we can just swap it.
Cool.
All right.
Sweet.
So first question that we asked Faith was, what inspired you to write Locked Inside? Was there a specific moment or idea that sparked the story?
So her answer was, The idea of Locked Inside came up in a total random moment. I was just putting my baby asleep and an image sparked in my mind. It was Dion grinning satisfied, locked inside his isolation cell, and Abigail just running away from him, totally distraught. Then immediately the title came to mind. I have the best idea lightening in my mind in the most random, boring, simple moments of life, taking a shower, cooking, cleaning. The mechanical, physical gestures disconnect your brain from reality, but are those where the imagination runs the wilder, at least for me. That is so fucking cool. Like, what a cool way to put that into a concept.
I really like the normalcy, which is like, I was just putting my baby to bed and the idea came to me. And I'm like, all I could think about was like, oh yeah, the baby's locked inside their crib right now.
Oh my God. So next question we did was, what drew you to the dark romance genre and how do you approach writing difficult or triggering content? This was a question I really wanted to know.
Same. Because it says here, like, how do you just get into dark romance? Well, here we go. So Faith said, I discovered the dark romance genre 2 years ago and I had no idea such books could exist. But I always search for those kinds of stories. I've always been fascinated with true crime and horror in addition to spicy content, and dark romance is the perfect blend of those worlds. I always try to approach triggering contents with a delicate hand. I try to elevate the subject by smoothing my words and point of view perspective, trying to avoid being too graphic, especially when the topic concerns abuse and or children. It's not always easy, and sometimes I have to go over the scene even 5-6 times to smooth angles, change words, and delete some parts. Still, my books are considered pretty dark, which I'm trying to change to give access to more readers, something that maybe will happen with Deliver Me releasing this summer.
Can I just say I'm so excited for this. I've already slid into a DMs like, I need this book ASAP.
I love the subtle plug. Because I feel like one of the questions we did form towards the end is like, what else? Like, what's next?
What's next?
Okay. So third question, what do you hope readers take away from the main characters and their relationship in Locked Inside?
Ooh. Okay, so Faith said, what I really would love my readers to take away from Locked Inside characters and relationships is the psychological dynamic that exists inside the book and between Dion and Abigail. I feel that the growth of the two main characters is highlighted pretty well, especially Dion's. He arrives at the mental hospital with a specific cold attitude and set of manipulation skills, just to leave with a discovery and total acceptance of his own self as much as Abigail does. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was one of my favourite parts about Dion.
Same. The growth.
Yeah, and you sometimes don't get that character growth in dark romance books either.
You kind of just accept those red flags for what they are.
Steaming hot red flags.
Yes. But he did. He grew.
He did.
I was really happy with that. Yeah. Okay, next question was, your characters are raw, flawed, and real. How do you go about developing such layered personalities? Thanks.
I'm glad I get to read this one out loud. Because seriously, the personalities of especially Abigail.
Yeah.
So Faith said, that is one of the best compliments for me. Thank you so much. It's exactly how I wanted my readers to feel about Dion and Abigail's characters, as raw, flawed, and as realistic as possible personalities. It's something that comes natural to me. Writing is my absolute passion, but is also a kind of therapy for me. There is a bit of myself in every main male character and female main character I wrote about in my books. They have very distinguished personalities themselves when their image comes to mind, but the feelings, emotions, stages they go through is definitely something that comes from my moments. I try to pour out onto paper all the facets a human being can possess, drawing a specific silhouette of a character, and I search inside of me to do that.
That is so cool.
Right?
I never really thought of it that way, especially like putting a bit of yourself in each character. But like when I think about it, like this isn't a plug for me, but like with me writing a book, like
it's a relatable moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Because like I'm listening and reading out her answer. I'm like, that is just so fascinating.
Yeah. Oh, I love like digging into people's brains.
I'm reading you the next question.
Okay.
So question 5. What was the hardest scene for you to write in Locked Inside?
Oh, yes. Okay, what is it? I didn't read this. Faith said, The hardest scene to write was definitely Dion's flashback about his first abuse. I had the scene so vividly painted inside my head, it was hard to go through over and over again to make it as less graphic and violent as possible. Still, it was really tough as I felt all my characters' emotions. Oh, that would be so hard because that was a really hard scene.
Yeah. I was actually, when I listened to that scene, I was very surprised to hear how it played out.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that is the hardest one for her to write.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then she's put in brackets, little curiosity for you. I actually see and feel everything inside my head as I was inside a movie. But please don't think I'm schizophrenic. I'm mentally okay, I think. Oh my God, Faith, I love you. That is brilliant. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you
When I'm
picture
reading,
things in like a movie?
yes, I picture everything so vividly in my head.
See, I struggle with that.
That's interesting. But I have like read about that somewhere where it comes to like people's imaginations, where some people can like they read something and they can picture it like so vividly, whereas others it's like a struggle to put.
Actually picture it.
Yeah.
I have to really concentrate, especially like with fantasy and world building. If I haven't seen any art or anything like that, I actually really have to like concentrate to see it.
See, this is probably why fantasy is one of my favorite genres.
Whereas I struggle a little bit
'Cause I see
if
everything.
It's high fantasy.
Yeah.
But if I see artwork or something, so
Yeah.
little fact with Fourth Wing, I couldn't really picture the parapet and like all of that structure
look.
until I saw art for it.
I had to Google what a parapet was, but that's just because I didn't know what a parapet
Neither
was.
did I, but like even just like the structure of everything, I was just picturing like Hogwarts. Because it was something that my brain could relate to.
Yes.
And then when I saw some art, then I could see it so vividly. It's just, my brain.
That makes sense. Look at this. Faith is making us dive into our own heads right now.
I love this. Is she looking inside her head? Stop. Okay, so next one was, do you have a favorite quote or line from Locked Inside?
I know we only like came up with these questions like yesterday, but I'm so excited to
I know,
like
I
have
already
the
forgot
answers. The one brain, one goldfish
Literally.
brain. Okay. Faith said, I have a lot of favorite quotes, but maybe the main one is,
Oh, God. Oh, that pause. That says a lot.
you feed your pleasure with my pain, but I feed my pain on your pleasure. This is my therapy, Abigail. The more we fuck, the more my demons die.
Oh, my. It's been a hot minute since I've obviously listened to this, so like I forgot about that. Yep. It's hot in here. Wow.
I really like the next question it goes into, especially with your response right now.
Okay.
Question 7. What kind of emotional response do you hope Locked Inside evokes in your readers? Faith, I think that pure reaction Christy just had to your favorite line, that's the reaction I think you were looking
Yeah,
for.
I think so. When I was looking up the audiobook again today, just to refresh my brain on character names and stuff like that, because obviously I forgot them.
Goldfish.
Goldfish memory. But there was like a line like from the book and I forgot about that line. It's one of my favorite lines. I can't remember what it is already again. But I was just sat there and was like, oh, you wrote that. Okay, yeah, cool. Anyway, so answer for this question. Faith said, I really hope that Locked Inside helps my readers discover something of themselves they ignored, or to all those who went through traumatic experiences, abuse, and or triggering situations, it would help them overcome the scars left behind and or heal by following the path along with my characters.
I love that.
Aww.
I love that.
That's actually one of my favorite parts about dark romance.
Yes.
Is going through that healing journey for things that maybe...
I suppose it is because like these authors, they aren't afraid to write about the really hard topics.
Yeah.
Especially considering like even some things about going to therapy can feel so taboo to some people.
Yeah.
But also you do want your readers to gush about your books, and that's clearly the response we got from
Yes.
Christy and myself here today.
Yes. Gushing, honestly. Okay, next question. Music, movies, or other books. Did anything in particular influence the mood or tone of Locked Inside?
So, Faith said, music is definitely the first one of the main elements that inspires me, but so do some movies, true crime stories, and podcasts. For Locked Inside... All right. Can you take a guess on what serial killer I'm about to name?
Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy true crime documentaries. You nailed it. Okay.
I get it.
And I am now about to name 2 comic book characters
For... Oh,
that inspired her. I want to see if you can guess this.
Oh, come on. That is so easy. It's Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yep. Or Harley Quinn and Joker story are those who gave me the mood and tone for Dion and Abigail. It is so fitting. Mm-hmm.
I love the Joker Harley Quinn trope.
Yes.
Vibe
Yes.
thing. You know what I'm trying to say.
100%. So she continues. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I try to write books and tropes that are still not much explored inside the dark romance genre, and the asylum, mental health, serial killer environment is something I saw was not very much touched, as does the nun cult religious trauma environment. Deliver Me will dive into this topic in a haunting book this summertime.
Oh, I'm so fucking...
You're sold.
I'm already sold.
You're
Okay,
so sold.
I'm already sold.
But she does have a really good point. Like, I've only read one other book that was a psychologist-patient relationship.
And I hated it.
I was just about to say, this one shits all over it.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel awful because I went into that one with high hopes and it did not live up to the expectations.
this one was phenomenal. I loved it.
Altered my brain chemistry.
Because, like, not just is it, like, a dark romance, but you do have the taboo of the patient psychologist romance that's happening there.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of that I've read that comes close to that genre is, remember Lovely Wicked Things by Trisha Wolfe?
Oh, yes.
So that was psychologist and patient vibes and serial killer vibes.
Yeah.
And
But it's still so different to this one.
So different.
I think it's similar in the sense of, like, the psychologist and getting into, like, the mental reasoning why someone would do something.
Which I love.
Yeah.
That's, like, my favorite part of, like, Criminal Minds is, like, digging into why someone did something.
Yes.
So I relate to you, Faith, on the true crime, like, podcast and stuff. I love them. I love them so much. I love learning why someone did what they did.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so question 9. What's your writing process? Any tips or tricks?
Ooh. Oh, it's a long one. Okay.
Yes. I know, I'm very excited.
This is really interesting to know. Like, I love learning other authors' tips and tricks.
Yes.
Okay, so Faith said, I think I have the weirdest writing process anyone can think of. Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Normally, an idea, image, or character comes to my mind. From there, I start building a vague, still blurred storyline. Then I put some music on. I often go with a soundtrack, a song, or something that goes with the mood and vibes. I have matching the image that forms in my head, and I just start writing what I see and feel as if I was a spectator in front of a movie. That is such a cool concept.
I like. Well, she was saying before she does picture things so vividly.
It makes sense. 90% of the time when I sit at my desk, I have almost no idea what I will write in the next chapter. I have the vibe, but I let the characters take over and guide me through the story. Again, she put in brackets. Again, don't think I'm crazy. Even though written like this, it could give that impression. That's so good. I fucking love it.
It makes sense. I'm not getting crazy vibes.
No.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. What comes next is that I go with the flow until I finish the first draft. And I can assure you it's the messiest, raw first version of the story. Then come the at least 3 editing where I better assess the storyline, give more depth to the characters, delete, add scenes, plot twists, until I reread the entire book at least 5-6 other times, checking the time, space, or other incoherences, smoothing here and there, until the perfect story is composed. But I'm never really satisfied. When I reread myself after the release, I always find some things that I could have done better or changed. I'm an anxious perfectionist, one of the worst flaw along with being an impatient person, she's put in brackets. Any tips I would give? Okay, before I dive into that, that sounds like someone I know.
Yes. But I actually I liked how she said even after it's been released, she's still nitpicking at it, because
Same.
that is the life of somebody who is a perfectionist. It's like you always feel like it can be better.
rough,
I'm
man.
just here to say I fucking loved the book.
Yeah, there's nothing I could nitpick at all. Any tips I could give to any new writer is to feel your characters and go with the flow. Pour out everything that is inside at first. Things will make sense after, and not to worry if the first drafts are a messy pot of scenes. The red thread will be highlighted little by little, going over the story without any pressure over time.
Okay, I have a question for you now.
Oh.
As an aspiring author,
Yeah,
how do you take away those tips, you know?
I love that. It's nice to hear that someone doesn't just write a book and it's just amazingly brilliant from the get-go. It takes multiple drafts, multiple times going through the same book. You will throw out so much of it. And I get that already. I haven't even written that much and I get it. There's scenes I've already deleted. So I agree with that. And I love that.
The transparency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. Do you have any?
No, I loved it.
feelings? Yeah.
It's just really nice hearing about someone's writing process, and I love the little tips that she's included. It's it starts off raw and messy. It's exactly like how we started this podcast.
Yeah.
It started off imperfect, and with every episode we're just adding another layer on, eventually getting it where we want it and the vision that we have for it. So yeah.
I love that. I love the transparency. Okay. Last question. Can you tease what's next for you? Are you working on anything in the same world or with a similar vibe?
Okay, this one I'm excited to hear about. So Faith said, look at the smile on my face already. A new dark romance is coming this summer. If you read the Syndrome duet, you already met the main male character of this book, Riker. But to all those who didn't, don't worry, he will be present himself to you with his devilish, charming beauty, and you will fall for him so hard you won't understand in which spiritual dimension you find yourself in anymore. Here is the appetizer, the offering. In my world, shame and guilt are fundamental. They are the basis of my choices, but in the light of heaven, I'm haunted by darkness, a shadow that calls me to sin. It is a call to be delivered from my own chains, to be undressed of my holiness and have my soul stained. I fell into disgrace the moment I saw him. He made me spiral into damnation, a devil who showed me both hell and heaven. His is the name I pray. He's my God and I'm his salvation. I need a moment.
Oh my God.
It continues. The leader. In my world, mercy and love don't exist. Hunting monsters and demons in hell, those feelings are erased. God doesn't exist. But in my darkness, I caught a glimpse of paradise. I was blinded by a divine light the moment I saw her, and now all I can do is kneel for her, praying for my own salvation by staining her with her damnation. I recite my penances over her skin, flog myself with her touch, crucify her with her pleasure. She's my heaven and I'm her God. This book is the first inside the Apostles of the Serpent interconnected standalone series. I'll start working on the second soon and have another idea for another dark romance standalone after. My mind is crazy busy. Faith, I think you've just broken Christy. Look, I know you are a sucker for dark romance, religious trauma kind of books. She's speechless. Faith, you really have broken her. Are you about to cry?
I don't know.
You look very emotional. Well, I'm glad we could actually get that reaction on camera.
I didn't know what it was really about. I was just I'm there. Sign me up. That arc, I'm running for you.
Is this your official application for the
yes,
arc?
this is my application. I would like to be on the arc team. Thank you, Faith. Thank you.
I'm also putting my hand up
Yeah.
to being included because I have read That Sick Love, obviously, which has religious and heavy ties into the church and stuff. But I didn't enjoy it as much as you did. So I've kind of been like searching for something and wanting something.
Yeah.
That I guess is kind of like in the same environment, similar setting and whatnot, that it has like church and religious ties. And I feel like obviously I already love Faith Raven's writing. Like I loved this book. I'm hoping Deliver Me will be able to like satisfy like that craving I've got.
Yes. I think it will be. I think it will.
Okay, so last question. Tell us something we don't know about you. Any random quirks, hobbies, a random fact. I love that you included this one.
Thanks. Okay, so Faith said, I love listening to true crime and horror stories while cooking and cleaning. Slay. Another random quirk is surely me teaching my cat how to give the paw when she wants to eat.
I love that.
That is fucking sick. Okay, that is absolutely sick.
Like the fact that she's teaching her cat to do that. Because like my partner taught my dog to fist bump before dinner, which he just kind of like randomly like throws. He just throws fists, you know. But a cat, I'd love to see it.
That is so cute. I need to see this. Please send us the video.
Put it on your stories. We'll watch the shit out of it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Faith, for actually like answering my DM for one. Like you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go out of your way and do this. So thank you. That was so much fun. I loved that.
I found it like super insightful.
and
yeah, I want to do more of that.
Me too. Get that.
Yay. Okay, cool. So obviously we know a heap about Faith now. Should we talk about like our favorite moments from Locked Inside? Like, you know, the reasons why we gave it such a high rating that we did?
Oh boy.
I know.
I really liked the like kind of going back and forth from different point of views, as in we had Dion, we had Abigail, and then we had the copycat killer.
Yes.
So that was really interesting, listening to the insides of their minds, but also this copycat killer that we didn't know who this was until pretty much the end of the book. And just trying to figure out how it all connects.
Yes.
I really enjoyed like the insides of their mind because they were fucking batshit crazy.
Yes. And this copycat killer, I had so many different thoughts on them throughout the book.
Yeah.
This was a plot twist that I did not see coming. And I loved that. Like,
Okay, I did a little bit.
what do you mean?
I had a little thought and I was like,
I don't
what
believe
if?
you.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't outright be like, yeah, that's going to happen. Like, it still caught me by surprise.
Okay.
But I had like a little like,
Oh, what if?
yeah, what if? And then I was like, nah. Nah.
You like got rid of the thought as quickly as it
Literally,
came.
That's like another big thing I really loved as well. Throughout the whole thing, I was second guessing myself. I'm like, well, maybe it could be this person. Maybe it could be linked to this. Like when she went to like a party with that guy that she knew.
I forget his name.
Who knows?
But he was obviously like interested in her. And I was like, is this the copycat killer?
Yeah.
Like,
I was fully convinced. And then I was just like, maybe there isn't a copycat.
and then he
Maybe-
died?
Spoiler.
Oh my, and then I was like, well, who the fuck's the copycat killer?
And then I was like, what if it's like the cop, like Detective Davidson or something? And then I was like, nah, he's too dumb. Or like, what if it was just Dion messing with her? Or what if he just had like a mate or like a secret brother? I've read something like that, like that's happened where it was actually like a secret twin brother we didn't know about.
Oh my god.
So I was like, what if? Like, maybe he's got a secret twin brother we don't know about? But no, it did still catch me by surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't have predicted who the copycat killer was. I was so certain I knew who Dion was, who Abigail was. And then I was like, well, somebody clearly admires Dion's handiwork to want to obviously copy him because clearly he's the murderer.
Yeah.
Like, I loved that Abigail, being his psychologist, was going to try and like play the psychologist card to get him off like the hook from like these murders and stuff. But in saying that, things were planted.
Yeah.
But like, okay.
There's so many things to it. There's so many things.
You know what? I really want to play that moment where we realized who the copycat killer was.
Ooh.
And like, I wrote in my notes when I was listening to this, I'm like, this book, like this was like hands down one of the coolest things I've listened to from an audiobook. And just before like we go into that, this audiobook wasn't like any other audiobook. It wasn't a graphic audiobook.
No.
But we did have like extra additional sound effects that really added like a level of depth to the storytelling element.
Yes,
Loved
especially it being like a psychological thriller. When I first like heard a sound, I think it was just like a door closing and then like heels on her walking down the hallway.
Yes.
To that first scene.
Yes.
I was on the edge of my seat just because of the sounds. It was fucking incredible. They should do that more often with audiobooks.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
It
100%.
elevates it.
It was
so
fantastic.
Much more, like the sound effects. Like it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't
makes
a
an
graphic audio.
experience.
It was just like, just sounds.
Yes. Okay, so let's play my favorite moment from the audiobook.
Voice tunes in my ears, making my heart beat faster, making my stomach clench in fear and bliss, summoning my blinding hatred and love. I'm not fucking playing with you. You're not real. You're just inside my mind. You all are. I squeeze my temples with both hands
The blade of the knife grazing my scalp
as I try to stop the voice from growling louder as it
cruelly laughs its victory.
I'm drifting.
I'm losing.
I'm staggering dangerously over the precipice of that
Black void.
You're inside my game. I caught you. You're mine now.
The fucker's voice
So cold and raw,
brushes my ear.
stabbing me in shock. My masterpiece is ruined.
I'm cracking.
My mind is turning against me.
I'm fucking losing, and I can't.
My haunting emotionlessness possesses me again. Close to him, I whisper into the hole left after I severed his ear. You know who will be next? Dion Knight and Abigail Rowland. But you can't tell anyone until everything has fallen into place. Shh. It's our little secret. Okay, asshole? Gurgling with laughter, I stroke his bald head, smearing blood on his forehead.
How brilliant and well done was just that unraveling of a character's mind. I wouldn't have been able to see that coming. And if I had read the book, not even my imagination would have been able to deliver the kind of excellence that like James and Ellen did in that scene then. Phenomenal.
I'm fucking speechless again. Like I said, like I read this a couple months ago. So like it's still in my mind, but it's not as fresh as you. So I forgot how incredible that was.
Right? I literally, like, I was just doing, like, the most mundane thing. And then, like, that started happening. And I was like, wait.
I honestly feel
And it's that,
lost.
like, not only do we have the unraveling of our copycat, but you also have the realization of who it is. And, like, it's just... It was a masterpiece.
It was fucking incredible, honestly. They did such an excellent job. Like, and also, like, hats off to Faith for writing that. I've never experienced that before.
No, me either.
Like,
I loved it.
The unraveling of a mind to not realize who they even are and what they're doing. Like, and even in that scene was fucking brutal. I also loved, like, the aspects throughout the book of just, like, killing.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, look.
serial killers doing serial killer things.
Here's, like, our copycat, which we later realized their name is Adelaide. So Abigail's, like, split persona or personality. Like, that in itself was mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But here they are, like, coming undone with, like, their thought process and where, like, their mind is, their insanity.
Yeah.
And I just, like, this vivid picture of, like, her just, like, whispering into, like, this dead dude's, like, severed ear hole.
Yeah.
There we go, ear hole.
Ear hole.
Literally.
Literally.
Just, like, you can't tell anyone. This is our secret.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. I loved just the craziness of it all. I think it's not long after that scene where Dion, he knows.
Yes.
And he's just like, there you are. And I'm like, I remember when I, like that scene where he's like, there you are. Like he antagonizes her to the point that Adelaide comes forth.
Yes.
And he's like, there you are. And I just remember being like,
Loved it.
what?
But I loved the fact that Abigail did not know this about herself.
Yeah. She was so Delulu. Mm-hmm. I
Brilliant.
love that concept.
So clever.
It's so cool. It's so fucking cool.
So yeah, understand why that bit was like my favorite moment in the whole book.
It's incredible. I really liked how it all came together.
Yeah.
In the end, how everything kind of started to make sense. Like from the start, we've got this Detective Davidson. Fucking hated him from the start. And he's just, sniffing around into this case. He's the one who like caught onto Dion at the scene. Like he found camera footage.
It was just a partial camera footage of like his scar,
face.
and he was
Yeah.
like, "That's him. That's my guy."
And it was like, I remember when that camera came about, I was just like, how did he get caught over that? And as he's like at the end, things start to come forth.
Yeah.
And I was like, this little sleaze bag.
Yeah, he turns out like
evidence.
Yeah, the footprints at the
Yeah.
scene of the crime. I'm like, oh, that's a real like dog move.
Like, seriously, that's how much you just wanted an arrest so people will think you're a cool detective. Oh my God, I catch like the most insane serial killer in our time. I'm the best. Like, fuck off.
Yeah, but I also love that even while Dion was locked up, the murders were still happening.
Yeah, and he's like, how is this? She must be in on it. She must be letting him out. And I'm like, nah, mate, you were so wrong. And I also really, just enjoyed how it came together in the end. Like,
I really liked the scene at the end where they're at the courthouse. Yeah, and
just
Dion's on trial.
making a fool of Davidson.
Yeah, that was amazing.
She just like went into her persona, which I really also enjoyed, like just how she went from being around Dion, like when she was just Abigail, she was kind of like nervous and intimidated and like kind of like a different person. She kind of like toned herself back a bit to begin with.
Yeah.
But then when she was around Davidson, like she would stand her ground.
She was very confident and she stood up for her
Yeah.
for her patient.
Yeah, stood up for her reputation and who she was as like a psychologist, a well-known, really good at her job psychologist.
Yes.
Like, and you're just going to accuse me of this shit just because I'm a woman? Mister.
I love that she used his misogyny against him in the
Yes.
end.
Fucking slay.
The secret video footage, I didn't see that coming. That was such a like mic drop moment.
Look. I'm not going to actually drop this mic. It's very expensive. I love you, baby.
I thought that was brilliant. This book, nothing really felt forced.
No.
You know what I mean? Like I've read some books and for certain aspects of a plot to happen, like this has to happen and it just feels forced. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas this, like, yes, we had some moments where I'm like, oh, that's a coincidence, but it worked.
Yeah.
And it worked well.
It flowed really well.
Like the not having a security guard on hire at
Yes.
the hospital, like recently was fired or recently quit or something like that. It didn't feel forced. Like it actually felt natural. And I guess that's like a compliment to Faith's writing and how she was able to weave and like, I guess, like close that plot hole, if that made sense.
Yes.
Because one of their first scenes where Dion and Abigail like have some steamy moments. He goes, look at the camera, like the camera's watching you. And all I think was the panic. I'm like, oh my God, she's going to lose her job. Is someone going to come charging in here?
Yes.
Like, who's been watching them? And then like the next chapter's like, thank God he quit. I'm like,
literally, and just, oh my God, can we actually talk about that though? Like the heart racing moments where they're kind of like sneaking around, like she's sneaking into his room and they're doing some fucking things she would go to jail for, honestly.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, like one minute she was like to Detective David, like, I am a respectable woman with my patient. I'm like, ma'am, I saw how you got disrespected in the previous chapter.
yeah, she did. And it's like that anxiety of being like reading from her point of view, of having to like rush to the camera room and like delete the footage, or like the scene where she has to then leave his room and she's clearly like wet. Like, and her skirt has like an imprint and she has to like try and hide that and go about her day.
Yeah. She's just like to everyone, oh yeah, he scared me so much I pissed myself. And they're like, okay. And really she's like, she squirted everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was something.
It was definitely something. Oh my God. There was just so many scenes where I was like, what the fuck? I am feeling so many things.
Okay,
like,
but the needle scene?
literally, I was about to say new kink unlocked, but also like, no, please keep that away from me. I'm deathly scared of needles.
It comes back to that, like, I'll read it in the book, but I will run screaming in the opposite direction in real life.
But it's like, yeah, new kink unlocked is something I want to read more. I'm like, oh, okay.
Because it was well done.
It was very well done.
Yes.
I was like, I also, okay, another thing I loved was I didn't know if he hated her or wanted to fuck her.
Because it
loved
did start
that.
off with,
He
like,
was just toying her.
he
like,
was toying with her.
her.
He wanted to get her fired.
Yeah.
And then he realized, like, how she could help him.
Yes.
And it was also the same realization of, like, wait a minute, like, I'm obsessed and, like,
Yeah.
I like this woman.
Yeah. And also, like, a lot of manipulation.
Yes.
A lot. This man is a walking, talking red flag.
Oh,
Okay.
heavy red flag. Where's the red flag, man? Like,
We need to get a red flag.
we should. We should have
Yes.
red and green flags.
Yeah.
Let's.
This man is nowhere near a green flag.
No. But for like green
Yes.
flag boyfriends
Yeah.
in other books.
If we ever
this
read that,
this
you
whole
know,
relationship dynamic is a red flag.
It's so toxic. It's so toxic,
But
and
I'm
I
here
love
for
every
it.
second of it. I loved every second of it. So, how did you feel after finishing this book?
Look, honestly, I feel like with the ending and how everything like wrapped up, I felt really satisfied.
Yeah.
I felt happy for like the main characters that I guess they found each other in their own weird toxic personality,
Yeah.
and the fact that Abigail is aware of Adelaide
Yeah.
now. But it was just like one of those endings where it felt right. You know,
Yeah.
there wasn't any forced happily ever after or anything like that. It felt natural to the characters and like how they're going to move on from
Yeah.
everything.
It was kind of like it wasn't just wrapped up in this tight little bow, like
Exactly.
happily ever after.
Exactly.
I think I think it ended very well.
Yeah. And, you know, it's also like one of those books where it's just going to like have its own little spot in my
Yes.
head. It's not one that I'm going to easily forget about. And seriously, so when people are like asking, oh my God, Julia, do you have a dark romance recommendation? I'm like, don't I ever?
It's definitely a book that lingers. I am still thinking about it to this day. I was in such a serious book hangover afterwards, and I just didn't know
Actually,
what to read.
Same. I'm now listening to Rope Me In and Rain Me In by Kayla Gross simply because I needed something comforting
Yeah.
after finishing Locked Inside.
Yeah, something cozy.
Yeah. Just the mental fuckery.
Literally, the emotional impact.
Psychological thriller. Like,
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
It messed with my head. It really did.
yes.
As you know, I have not shut up about this
Yes.
book. I've been recommending it to everyone.
Yes.
Like, I was in yours and Tay's ears, like, you need to stop what you're doing and read this. And Tay listened to me and you
Yes.
did not. But it's fine.
did.
It's fine.
Explain my Spotify audio hours.
They need to give us more. That's the problem, okay?
Petition for more hours.
Yes. But I've actually like gotten so many people onto this. They're like, I need a dark romance, and I'm like, I've got you. But please check those trigger warnings, okay? Like, please, before you even recommend this book, like, let them know about the trigger warnings because
Yes.
it is a lot.
Yes.
It is a lot.
And it's like, even though like, you know, in the Q&A we had with Faith, like, yes, she tries to like smooth things out and hold back a little bit, but it's still there.
It's very dark.
Yes.
Going to leave an impact. That's the biggest thing. So, if you're into stories that push your boundaries, make you uncomfortable, but in a good way, possibly, that's also going to keep your heart pounding, then I highly recommend Locked Inside by Faith Raven. This book is incredible. Please give it a go. Holy shit.
And you know what? If you do listen to it, slide into our DMs, especially
Yes.
Christie's, because she will be there gushing to you
Yes.
alongside it.
Yes.
But also, if you do want more book chat, more to be like behind the scenes and included, we do have a book club on Facebook called Bookshelf Besties.
Yes.
Where we do kind of like do a little monthly book club pick. Eventually going to be a podcast episode as well. So if you want to be included in the conversations, join us there. And you can also find us on Instagram, TikTok. And we're starting to like get the podcast out there more as well.
Yes.
So obviously we're already on Spotify and YouTube, but we just figured out how to use Apple Podcasts. So soon you'll be able to listen to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah.
But
We're getting there. It is a
Yes.
track, okay, guys?
Yes.
It is a track. Mind you, it is only deep end on Apple Podcasts. I still have to go back and upload the rest. It will take a while.
We'll get there. It's fine. We're learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But for now, happy reading, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
See yous.